us if you.
We're dependent on.
First thing.
Yep.
Okay, so live, just minimize that thing out of there. Got it. And you hit record and they're ready to start the meeting.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Okay, welcome everybody to our Park and Rec meeting with Sunbury. It's for September 1st, 2021. It's about 5:53 p.m. How about a call to order? Steve or Olivia?
You just did the call to order. Now you need a roll
I'm
call.
sorry, no roll call, please. Yes.
Okay, so
Thanks, Dave.
Mr. Gross,
Here,
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
all present. Thank you. Okay. For our last meeting on August the 4th, 2021, we have our minutes here.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Martin,
Second.
second by Ms. Cooper.
Okay, Mr. Gross,
Yes,
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
approved. Thank you. Okay, visitors. I don't see any tonight. All right, let's move on to old business. We have a few items here. Guess we can start at the top. We talked about, we have J.R. Smith. We have a couple things going on there at J.R. Smith. Talk about the wall here in a moment, but last week I met with, Steve and I met with Silas Bowers and Chad Zipfer. Chad, we all know who Silas is, board member, Big Walnut Youth Sports Organization. And then we have Chad, who's actually on the football side on the board. So talked about J.R. Smith. We opened up and did a walkthrough of building, I think it was 22, right?
Mhm.
The Lions building, it says 22 on the front. It's the southern building. Try to get an idea of what was in there, what kind of condition it was in. We found that down in the basement, there was some materials there, an inventory of the belonging to the football team. So they're gonna continue to sort through that, get that organized, and prepared for the season. We also talked about the scoreboard operation and how they can access that. We had a key available for the small shed, the electrical shed next to the scoreboard. So we were able to get in there and test it out. Scoreboard worked, thank goodness. And we also showed them how to get to the press box. So I think everything was in order down there with the electrical, wasn't it, Steve, by the time we left?
Pretty much.
The lights too.
They understood
The
how to
lights, we
get the
tested
lights on.
Yeah.
They knew how to access that structure.
Mhm.
I think, there was a subsequent email from Chad about a line, a little line that had to be run to the scoreboard controller box for it to operate.
And he was gonna do that
I asked him
on
to
his
do
own,
that,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
And the following day, I did locate the other key for more of the storage building, and I did met with him, and we opened it up. He went through there and
Oh, okay, good.
passed on a key to him. So they had full access in time for their weekend workday on Saturday. So,
Good, okay, good. Yeah, I think the general consensus was they were gonna, we okayed the food truck operation down there. As long as they're meeting the health standards, they're gonna handle that.
Do they have to have access to water for the food truck? And is that available?
Question, that did not come up.
I thought we talked about that.
I
They
think-
said they were gonna be 100% sustainable themselves.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
they'll have the water they need on board.
Oh, okay.
They're coming
itself.
100%
All right.
prepared.
I just wondered if they had
Yeah.
hose aid, because sometimes, like on the Labor Day and Memorial Day and stuff, some of the vendors that are here, we have to hook a garden hose up to this building for them to have water to do what they do in their food trucks. So I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, I think it was a good meeting. Got a general consensus there with regard to they're gonna continue to prepare the field ahead of time, right before game time, and paint the lines. Brad is gonna continue to see that it gets mowed. With regard to the building, we're not sure yet. We still have some more work to do there. I have to reach out to the Lions Club. I got a couple of names from Dave Bream this week on who to contact, so I'll have to do that before our next meeting. And probably have a meeting down there with those folks and see who's interested in talking about what role they want to play with regard to maintenance of the Lions building, number 22. Anything else, Steve, I might be missing? Or Cindy, can you think of
No,
it?
actually, the storage building that we opened up had a good deal of equipment in it. Also an amazing array of snack bar utensils and Gatorades that I probably wouldn't want to drink after a year, but
Okay.
but there was,
That was the next day.
yeah,
Oh, I see.
but he was pretty happy with the amount of storage they were gonna have, and they were, intended to get it a little more organized, and so
How did that look inside?
it was
Better or worse than number 22?
I would say that it was in better shape overall.
Okay.
Electrical worked immediately when we turned it on. Yeah, I think they have a roll down. Those might be roll down windows that face toward the field. The windows were in better shape.
Okay.
I think they are rolled down to have added security because of the value of the snacks and things that would be in there, so.
Okay, one thing I remember I wanted to follow up on. I'd like to get a couple estimates, if you guys would agree, on maybe installing those push button, the keyless entry lock system. That way we can control who gets the code and we really know for sure who's going in and out, as opposed to having, as it stands right now, it sounds like from what they're talking, there's
Some
20
places,
plus keys out there in some people's hands.
some places that I know of that do that, they change that code periodically,
Yeah.
because otherwise, if I ask Cindy to pick something up for me and I say, oh, here's the code. And before you know it, everybody in Sunbury could have the code to that building.
Right.
Right.
So,
That's the point. We can change it at no cost whenever we want, the code, as opposed to a key.
yeah,
So let's work on getting some estimates,
I will do that.
couple estimates.
And I'm
Was anyone
hoping-
able to reach out to the Lions Club to see if they were still using it?
That's what I was saying. I finally got a couple names from Dave Bream a couple days ago. He passed a couple names on. I've got them written down here somewhere.
Okay, so that's still on.
That's on my agenda to
Yeah.
follow up on and get with them.
Donna Evans would be able to give you information related to Lions Club.
Donna Evans.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I think one name he gave me was Glenn.
Well, Glenn and Donna are husband and wife, so yeah.
Oh,
But they both have been involved with the Lions Club. And Rick Hyman is another name,
Hyman.
Eyman.
Okay. Okay. I'll work on that. Secondly, J.R. Smith, I think you guys are aware of the wall there. Situation with the wall between the two buildings.
Well, I saw an email, but I can't access my email, so could you give me a quick?
Well, it's deteriorating rapidly to the point.
J.R. Smith?
Yeah, there's
Oh, along the, okay.
the retaining wall sits in between the two buildings. And over the course of the last several years, it's sort of caving in,
Okay.
in the process of collapsing. And so we worked on getting a couple estimates for that. We did get one in was it yesterday?
This morning.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Facemeyer. 50-some thousand, I think.
55, yeah.
55. I think that's a worst case scenario. So I believe it's on the agenda tonight. We have an ordinance to look at that and contemplate and consider passing that to repair the wall. Steve, you want to add anything to that?
No, the product they're recommending is one that you've probably seen on highways when they build those retaining walls for like overpasses. They're big block gravity retaining walls. It's a decent looking product, but it's also effective. It's been used to go to heights much greater than what we would ask of it.
Yeah.
We did a comparison against poured walls. Poured wall would need a pretty deep footer and a pretty wide footer.
This is what
Be
they
able to-
are proposing, right? Ready
Yes.
Rock.
Mhm.
Here, I'll pass this over to you guys.
And I assume that this, because I'm not familiar with building walls, that this is something that we really need a professional to do. This isn't something Brad's team could handle.
No, these
Okay.
are pretty specialized. Well, we're gonna have to back excavate the wall and get the soil off of it before we can even demolish the old one. And even that, I think, is something, we don't have the equipment to do it properly.
Is it
Yeah.
dangerous the way it is now?
It could be.
Okay,
We,
potentially.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I think we collectively think it is. And Dave Parkinson with CT, we prepared an email, not an official report, wasn't it?
yeah, he did do an email
A
on it.
detailed email recommending that he believes the collapse could be imminent.
Parkinson,
Yes,
okay,
he thinks
okay,
a potential dangerous collapse is imminent, and for that reason, we need to
Okay.
move forward with
so
it.
council, it's on the agenda for council tonight?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so we'll have Mr. Parkinson detail it further.
Okay,
6 o'clock, already after 6. Let's go to GRE meeting. You had a meeting with the baseball folks, Cindy?
yep, Steve and I were there along with our mayor and a couple baseball reps, and it was real nice, just sort of nice to meet them and just have an open conversation. Those areas are sort of confusing, and I think it's good to have these meetings every once in a while, because whenever you are dealing with school property next to parks property mixed with a youth program, you just have a lot of it's just a lot of moving parts. So I think there's more that's gonna come. But one thing that he wanted to get out was that there's going to be Steve, do you remember what they were called? It was like a home run derby type of festival coming up. And I want to say October 2nd. I can get that. They're
That's
going to have a home run derby, and they're going to have food trucks, and it's going to be a big festival. They're really trying, it's new. It seems like most of the BWISL is all sort of new, fresh faces coming in. So they're really trying to look at the past and what really worked and use that, and then just keep adding to it. So they seemed like they were all in, and they were just sort of coming to Sunbury to meet us, talk in person, and see how we can have a relationship. There's some more stuff that the mayor was planning to do on his end from Sunbury, and meeting with the schools and stuff, because we didn't have a school rep at the meeting.
That's important, because there's, always seems to be some confusion as to whether it's the school
Right, well,
or the youth organization or us.
One of the problems really is the restrooms there.
Yeah.
We talked about that for a long time, because the restrooms are school property, but the village has the key to them, but it's the sports that are using them. So we're trying to decide what's the best way of going about that.
And I have an email here from, is it Dan Showerman? Daniel Showerman? Is that who you met with?
That was one of the gentlemen, yep.
Yeah. He seemed to be pretty positive about it.
Yeah, they very much reminded me of the football folks, like happy to help, happy to do their part, happy to work with the village.
Okay, good. So I'm assuming then a follow-up meeting of some kind with them later on?
I need
The
to
school-
touch.
School rep? Get them in-
Well, definitely our mayor has a list of things that he intends to talk about with the school board, and bringing in that area of the GRE is one of them.
What kind of locks do we have over there on that? That's a key, isn't it?
Yeah.
That restroom over there. Yeah, I'd like, when we get that estimate, let's have them look at GRE too, that restroom over there. What do you think?
I think we'll have to talk with the school
Yeah,
somewhat
it's on
about that and
our,
what their comfort level is with that, but
That's right.
yeah.
it could be a solution.
Okay. All right, let's go to Reservoir Trail status. I meant to get over there, take a look at it before this meeting. I did not. Steve, do you have any input on that? Have you been over there, heard anything about that lately, how they're moving along?
As of like mid last week, they had done some brush clearing, but it hadn't progressed past that. And Brad and I were trying to get an update so that, you know, if it's going to be another 2 weeks until they mobilize to come back, potentially we could open the reservoir back up for a
That's right.
period of time.
Maybe it's shut down now, isn't it?
And we posed that question. I don't know that we've gotten an answer yet.
Basemeyer is doing everything there. They're the
Yeah.
general, right?
They'll probably, yeah, they're the general. They'll have some subs in there, but
Okay, very good. Sunbury Estates Pond, not sure it's really a park issue here, maybe more of a services issue to go with the sidewalk issue at Sunbury Estates, but I did meet with Dave Link, who lives next to the main pond there, right in the center of our development, and Joe and Damon, since he's on services. That's been a week or so ago. His main complaint was with the algae and the odor, the fish that died after it was treated the last time. So he went over there to see what was going on, and he pointed out 8 or 9, 10 other things for us to look at. So we still have some follow-up work to do. I got to follow up with Joe and Damon, maybe tonight in services. We'll have a
Are
further.
the aerators still running in those ponds?
Yeah, the fountains.
Yeah,
They're fountains.
but the reason they're there is for aeration.
Yes.
They're not there to be pretty.
That's right.
Yeah. But we had issues when I was village administrator. Somebody kept turning them off and we wanted them running 24/7.
Right.
Because that's what keeps that water and the algae doesn't build up quite as bad and all that.
That's right. And so we have a protocol established with Mr. Link. He's going to call Steve if there's a shut off of the fountain or a problem with it or too much algae. But right now, you know, starting in April or May through October, every month, we have a treatment done by a local vendor. I did talk to that vendor, the owner of the company, and he was really helpful. He said the reason that the fish may have died primarily is because it was right after he treated it, a day or two, or maybe the same day. But he said when you get a heavy or a hard rain to go along with the treatment, you get this cool rain coming down on the road, and it comes into that warm pond, bringing with it oil deposits and gas deposits, and then you have the chemical treatment all in there at one time. He said it can shock the fish and some of them can die. So that's not uncommon. But the next day or two later, they were all gone. I was down there and looked at it. The algae was clear. The fish were gone. And the vendor, the owner said, well, it's probably because they were flushed through there's a discharge pipe there.
Right.
They probably got flushed out or eaten by the muskrats or whatever. But anyway, we talked about possibly installing a subsurface aeration system. So I think we're going to work on getting an estimate for that. If you could write that down, Steve. potentially just installing that. The owner of the company, he told me that can run anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000, but it'll last a long time, several years, and it's much more effective than the fountain. So that's a possibility. So we're going to look at doing that. And there are some ruts around the pond that we may want to fill due to safety reasons.
The fountains keep the water from getting stagnant though.
Mhm.
The fountains add a lot. As
Yeah.
far as keeping the water from getting too gunky.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it's aesthetics too. They want to, interestingly, even if we do decide to install and pay for a subsurface aeration, I think they'd like to see the fountains to stay,
Yeah,
just from aesthetic reason.
right.
So we'll see where that goes. We still have more work to do on that. And I think I'll talk to services tonight too, further about it. Next item, let's see here. Volunteer list. Anything further on that yet, Steve or Cindy?
Yeah, attached
It's in
to your agenda, I wrote
agenda,
a
the
brief
last
memo.
page.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fred and I have been kicking it around. We've come up with kind of 4 categories so far. Doing an adopt a park program, allowing a group to totally adopt a park or share that commitment with 2 other groups so that we'd have a 3-date commitment to a half-day workday for the park.
Mhm.
Bicycle ambassadors, extra eyes and ears on our paths, both the Ohio area and our bicycle paths, looking for hazards, greeting people, giving out information, maybe doing some office and project assistance if we have a special project. And then one of those special projects I would like to do is find someone that would be interested in cataloging a volunteer clearinghouse of all the different opportunities and areas of need in Sunbury, and then getting that onto our website with, some contact information so that if somebody wanted to volunteer on a wider basis for Sunbury, there was at least a informational tool that would help connect them with the Friends of Sunbury. Is that what that?
Friends who share.
Friends who share.
Oh, yeah, big one. Friends who share.
Oh, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. So
Athletic
not
boosters,
specifically to the village, but not specifically to our needs, but our,
to the larger
I love
community.
that,
Yeah.
Steve.
And, Source Point, I'm sure, they're always interested in volunteers. There's probably a few other, opportunities that if we had them at least in a clearinghouse with just here's the organization, here's the kind of help they need, and here's the person to contact to volunteer, then I think that would be a good thing, I think, to have on our website and also to help not only our needs for volunteer, but also the wider needs for volunteers. So
Sure.
Mhm.
That kind of gets the whole city involved too,
Mhm.
then not just what we own, like our parks, but it
Yeah.
helps spread everybody. Great idea.
What do you think? Yeah, it is great. This is good stuff. On the website, where do you think we could put that? What would be the best spot? Any idea on that, Olivia?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have that how-to section.
How to?
Yeah, so, on there we have how to rent a facility, how to volunteer, and then list the options there. I can look at that tomorrow and see what would be best, but that just off the top of my head, that's where.
Is there a how to volunteer tab now or not?
No, but we could make one.
That's it. It's good. What do you think, guys? A good place to put that?
I haven't been on the website since she's,
Maybe we could also put it both there and under the park somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, that
What
we have like a
spots?
facilities, and then we have, the Parks and Recs, and maybe even under that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Any idea or thought on how we can push this further, Steve, and
Um,
get something finalized?
if you tell me you would like us to pursue it, we will at this point. It's, Brad likes the idea of an adopt-a-park, and I think the bicycle ambassadors, we can start to build that one out. First probably focus on adopt-a-park and the volunteer clearinghouse. I'll get an office or a project assistant to help us with gathering the volunteer information that we need. And,
Okay. Is that something you and Olivia can both work at? Okay, excellent.
Just reach out to me if you, I'm
Okay.
happy to do anything that you need, whether it's phone calls or whatever you find that you need. If it's like, oh, I don't have time, just call me.
Okay.
Don't email me. Call me.
Thanks, Cindy. Okay, what else do we have here? Any other old business before we go to new business? Or how about just old and new business? Anything from,
I have a new business thing.
yes, Dave?
I got an email from Jackie Haight, who is the old people coordinator for Delaware County. That's not the best way to say what her title is, but
How do you spell her last name?
Haight.
Okay.
And she is putting together a program. It's Age-Friendly Delaware County Initiative. And she sent me an email asking me to attend a meeting, a Zoom meeting, actually, 2 weeks from today, that what they're looking at is having age-friendly outdoor spaces and buildings throughout the county. And we've been talking about stuff we want to see happen with our parks and all that kind of thing. And so I'm planning to attend that meeting. And then there's another meeting, a follow-up a couple weeks later. But I'll do that, and then I'll report back to you guys at our October, hard to believe I'm saying that, but at our October Parks Committee meeting.
That sounds real encouraging, Dave.
So, yeah,
When was that meeting?
the meeting is it's September 15th. And it's like noon or something. It's in the daytime, so 9 a.m. Oh my, I have to wake up
You
that
better
morning.
set your alarm.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, but it's what it's called. It's Age-Friendly Delaware County Initiative. So
They have some kind of a tab on the county website somewhere or about that, do you know? Or I'm just looking to gain some more information on it. That sounds like a good opportunity to partner with them, maybe get.
so you could probably go to SourcePoint,
Oh, is that through SourcePoint?
mysourcepoint.org /age-friendly.
Okay, excellent.
That sort of reminds me that the Methodist Church officially opened up their ninja course and
Saw
their
that.
playground.
Were you there for that?
No,
opening
I
day?
wasn't, but I have had friends that have, it's been too hot. Like, it's been way too hot for me. But now that the weather has broken for a little bit, maybe I'll take my small group is planning on meeting there. But I've only heard good things, and it reminded me of it because it's really geared towards teenagers and young adults. The ninja course is really too big for small kids, which I love because we don't offer very much for that teenage space. So I'm glad we have something to offer that age range.
And this is just a part or a phase one. They have a lot more planned, don't they? They
I don't
didn't do
know
the
how
whole
much
thing.
they have planned. I know they have space, but I don't remember. It's been a while since we've had them.
Did you notice if if they built a sidewalk or a path or anything?
I haven't been over there.
Okay, we'll have to take a look at it.
I will probably have been there. I will have been there before our next meeting.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, anything else? I do have one more item if you guys have anything. Yesterday I met with Mr. Mayor, our House State Rep, Rick Carfagna. Steve was there. Who else? Dave Bream. Tom Curtin with Preservation Parks, primarily for his purpose. And also Todd Barton, who is either the tenant or the owner of Dunkin' Oil. I'm not sure which at this point, but that's sort of what his property is sort of the final cog in the wheel to get Preservation Parks to get the trail through there. They need their help. They need an easement or they need to buy the land, one or the other. So this is sort of a group meeting to everybody going all in, putting the stake in the ground to say, look, we're all going to work together and see if we can't get this done sooner rather than later. It was very good, very helpful. Tom Curtin, I think, is pretty excited. I think he's on the agenda I saw for the visitor section.
Did look like he was a guest.
Yeah,
for
so
council.
I'm sure he'll have more here. You want to add anything to that, Steve, for now?
No, I think it was a productive meeting and hopefully we can make connections with the ultimate property owner there. I think that's very possible. And they've still got a little bit of their state capital funds to expend on that.
Yeah.
So, and they also talk about master plan in the area. You might want to.
Yeah, I think collectively, everybody thinks and believes for good reason that that location right there can be a major hub for the entire Ohio to Erie Trail from Cleveland to Cincy. It's right in the center of the state almost. We got there's a nice piece of land there. Preservation Parks is going to consider purchasing that parking lot from Mr. Gannon. So make that part of the project. They would like to put a big facility there in terms of a nice restroom, maybe some other things. And I got to thinking about J.R. Smith being right over here. It's going to be right next to the trail. We have big plans there. So I think those big plans coupled with their big plans, hopefully it'll create something really special down the road. And State Rep Mr. Carfagna was pretty positive about it too. So it was good. It was very productive. Well, looking forward to seeing where that goes. Okay. I don't have anything further. We got about 5 minutes for services.
We'll let them have the floor.
Motion for adjournment, anyone?
I'll make
Steve,
that
you have
motion.
Olivia?
Thank you.
Oh, we do have, doggone it. I wanted to get to, Olivia did send us an email with regard to facility rental. Since we're out of time, let's make this the first item on our agenda for next month, okay? Let's take a look at this.
I couldn't see any of my emails anyway,
Oh,
so
Okay,
probably best I not comment on an email right now.
but she's done a lot of good work here. We need to really look at this and see
Okay.
where we want to take it. Okay?
All right.
So is there a printed copy of it in this? Because if you can't look at
Did you
your
bring
email,
printed other
Mhm.
copies?
No, I have some stuff that I did from other jurisdictions on what their policies are, but nothing that I printed for everyone or anything.
I should be able to get into my email sooner than
okay.
later,
Yeah.
so.
Here you go. Here's the email.
Oh, you printed it?
I have a couple more at
Oh,
the office.
thank you. Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn for now.
Motion by Ms. Cooper. I'll set.
Oh, go ahead.
Motion by Mr. Martin as a second. Discussion? Roll call.
Okay, Mr. Gross,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Thank you.
See you back here. I'm gonna go home and eat dinner.
Actually, we can just end this meeting.
Okay.
Let's
Been a good